next guest is a coffee expert and a poetry lover. Joe by Joe is a Portland-based coffee roaster sourcing specialty beans from around the world and pairing them with caffeine-inspired poetry. Each bag is delivered locally by bike. So here to explain more about his coffee business is Joe from Joe by Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Ellie.
It is great to have you here. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my gosh. So first off, how did this start? How did you go, I want to make a coffee business?
Well, it started about 10 years ago. I was roasting at home just as a hobby, and I always had a dream to have my own coffee brand. So last year, I was just searching for ways to, if there was like equipment or places that I could rent out for space and stuff. And I found Buckman Coffee Factory, which allows you to have a membership and roast coffee out of the factory with their, professional grade roasters.
Cool.
So yeah, so it was just like an easy way to start a brand, and I just decided to go for it.
That's amazing. And a lot of your beans are sustainably sourced, if not all. Tell me about some of the sources you get your beans from.
Yeah, so I like to work with companies that, so I work with like a few importing companies that like to work with, small farms and source directly from them. As a very small roaster, it doesn't really make sense to, go directly to a farm, but you work with importers that, also that will source with small farms.
Nice.
I also buy some beans from a fellow roaster at Buckman Coffee Factory as well.
Very, very cool. And what kinds of coffee do you offer? You've brought a couple of the bags here today, so tell me about them.
Yeah, so over here I think is the Morning Haze, and in the middle is Nostalgia, and then this one is Vibrance.
What is the difference between the flavor profiles?
Yeah, so the Morning Haze is a coffee from Peru. It's maybe a little more like brown sugary, kind of toasty, kind of flavored.
Okay.
And then the Nostalgia is from Tanzania, and I feel like it's more like dark chocolate.
Ooh, all right.
So if you like something a little more chocolatey, I also feel like this is my most standard coffee. And then the Vibrance is from Uganda. It's going to be a little fruity, almost like mango or pear. No, not strongly, but they come through a little bit.
That would be great for the transition from spring to summer, just to have kind of a little more fruity coffee. That sounds amazing. And I also love your mugs.
Oh, thank you.
Because they're so cute. It's on your hat. You also have this cute three-stripe design. What made you want to design that? Because you design a lot of the art on your page.
I do, yeah. Well, there's the branding colors, which are, the colors are kind of just represent who I am. So they're colors that I wear. I mean, you can see I'm wearing red and blue right now.
Yeah,
so,
a primary color, you gotta love it.
Yeah, right. So, and then the mug itself is, I was playing around with the name Joe by Joe as sort of being this more like kind of working class kind of feeling. And so the mugs are inspired by just like those diner mugs that you get just at your local diner.
That's exactly what it reminded me of.
So, yeah.
And you also write poetry.
I do,
with your coffee. What inspired that?
Well, I'm a writer by trade. So it's just a way for me to impart some of my personality onto the bags of beans. And each poem incorporates coffee in some way. Okay. So a lot of them are just about sort of everyday, relatable situations with, a little coffee inserted.
Good to know. And they're all on the back as well. So when you get a bag of Joe by Joe, there's a poem on the back of the bag of Joe by Joe, which is so, so cool.
Yeah.
And how does your subscription service work?
Yeah, so I have two options. You can get coffee delivered every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks. And that's under the Around the World subscription. So that's just a random, I'll just send whatever coffee that I have available because I'm always rotating through different kinds of coffee. But as I said, the Nostalgia, so the Tanzanian coffee is sort of, that's my mainstay. I've had that for a really long time. So you can also just get that, you can subscribe to that one as well.
Really cool. Oh my gosh. And how can people get your coffee in person?
Yeah, so right now I'm not in any stores, but I deliver, so you can buy online, and then I can deliver by bike, and then I can also do some pickup locations. So one location that you can do pickup from is at Flower Bloom Cafe, which is on the east side.
Yep, I know that.
Yeah, and the other one, I just do a pickup at Providence Park, where people can just meet me there. So, little street level pickup.
I love it.
But yeah, otherwise you can get, if you live in Central Portland, and I use this kind of liberally, it's really just the areas of Portland that I can reach by bike. So I deliver for free. If you live, the best way to know is you just enter your zip code at delivery and that option will come up.
Cool.
Otherwise, I ship nationwide. So it doesn't really matter where you live, you can get my coffee.
Fabulous. You can get Joe by Joe. You just have to go to the website. Thank you so much, Joe, for joining me.
Thank you.
And if you like Joe's Joe, go to joebyjoecoffee.com. I think that's the most times I've said Joe in a single interview. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course.